Conrad was working on a story, an outpost of progress, and this was an attempt on his part to sort of depict the trauma that he went through in Africa. But this story did not have the intensity or the sophistication of Heart of Darkness. His indictment of the vilest scramble for loot came in a more scathing way in the latter novel. Conrad had reported to William Blackwood about the progress he had made on a story he had been working on for 10 days, sometime in the month of December 1898, and I'm quoting from what he had written to this person called William Blackwood. The title I am thinking of is The Heart of Darkness, but the narrative is not gloomy. The criminality of inefficiency and pure selfishness when tackling the civilizing work in Africa is a justifiable idea. The subject is of our time distinctly, though not topically treated. It is a story as much as my Outpost of Progress was, but, so to speak, takes in more, is a little wider, is less concentrated upon individuals, unquote. So this also makes quite evident how Conrad's treatment of a topical subject is not quite stereotypical. He does not valorize the colonial enterprise, and as we see, he first thought of naming the book as The Heart of Darkness, which of course he dropped the article later on. Perhaps the reason could be that the heart of darkness that is portrayed is not a reference to the center of Africa, the dark continent. Though the irony in the allusion is apparent, Heart of Darkness is also the darkness within, particularly within the protagonist's mind, as well as within the white race. The Heart of Darkness is kind of an examination of the encounter between truth and image, abstraction and concreteness, darkness and illumination. So, the kinship between Marlowe and Coates in Heart of Darkness is sustained on a metaphysical level as kinship between darkness and light, between the impulse toward light sustained by Marlowe until he sees Coates, and the impulse toward light sustained by Coates in the deepest darkness. This is said by the famous writer Edward Said in his writing on Joseph Conrad. So the novel, if we come to it, is an impression taken from life of the conquest by the European whites of a certain portion of Africa, an impression in particular of the civilizing methods of a great European trading company which comes face to face with the native people there. In this story, as we find, human life, both black and white, is presented as an unusually serious affair. Conrad's art here lies in his catching of the infinite shades of the white man's uneasy, disconcerted, and fantastic relations with the exposed and the exploited barbarism of Africa. And it lies in the accurate analysis of the deterioration of the white man's morale. When he is let loose from European restraints and planted down in the tropics as an emissary of light, armed to the teeth to make profits in his trade with the subject races. The psychological truth of this material and its masterly analysis of the two continents is conflict. The two continents who are in conflict, of the deep gulf between the white man's system and the black man's comprehension of its results, is conveyed to us through a rapidly moving narrative. As we come to see the description of the stillness of the somber African forests, the glare of sunshine, the feeling of dawn, of noon, of night on the tropical rivers, the isolation of the unnerved, degenerating whites, the helpless bewilderment of the unhappy savages and the grasp of their greedy conquerors. So all these have been vividly depicted. The story may be looked upon as a piece of art, fascinating and remorseless, and the artist is intent on presenting his sensations in that sequence, whereby the meaning of the meaninglessness of the white man is in uncivilized Africa can be felt in its really significant aspects.